Hey guys, welcome back to another Star Wars Canon review. Today we're going to be looking at Star Wars The High Republic, A Test of Courage. A Test of Courage was written by Justina, Ireland, and follows the story of a group of people setting out on a journey to the Starlight Beacon. However, when their ship crash lands on a mysterious planet, the survivors have to learn to adapt to this planet while help arrives. Guys, I was really looking forward to this book and the High Republic as a whole. I think it's just so fascinating that we are getting a brand new era of Star Wars that has never been seen in both Legends and canon, and that got me really excited for all the books, the adult books, the YA books, the comics, the junior novels, everything. However, after reading Light of the Jedi and loving that book as much as I did, I was wondering if this was going to hold up as well in comparison. And I could safely say that this was a really fun and enjoyable book, and Justina, Ireland knocked it out of the park with how she developed her characters and made this extremely fun and enjoyable story. And that is the best compliment I can give with this book, and that is its characters are clearly well-defined with character arcs and setups and payoffs, and it all works incredibly well. We basically focus on four main characters. We have Vernestra Rwoh, who is a 16-year-old Jedi Knight, one of the youngest Jedi Knights to ever be, and she has to focus on keeping this small group of people together while also being extremely young and inexperienced herself, and so the story really challenges her. Then we also have characters such as Avon, who is the daughter of this diplomat, who is kind of a tech-savvy junkie who really doesn't believe much in the Force, but rather believes in stuff like science, and she gets herself into a lot of trouble, and there's also a lot of depth with her and her mother, a lot of stuff that went on in her past that makes her extremely compelling and interesting. Then we also have Jedi Padawan Emery, who is probably my favorite character of this book and has the most interesting arc of the story, dealing with loss, pain, and anger, and there were some twists and turns with his character that I was not expecting, and was not expecting with the amount of depth that it was handled. And then also we have the character of Honesty, who is part of this warring tribe of people that is trying to pave his way in the universe, and all these characters are incredibly well defined. They're all interesting, and they all have their little quirks and their own little problems, and seeing them work off of each other is definitely the highlight of this book and what makes it so entertaining. And I was really surprised by the amount of depth that these characters had, because I really wasn't looking for that in a junior novel like this. I was afraid that I was just going to get some bland characters with a pretty bland story, but I ended up having really interesting characters in a well-rounded, fun story. I won't lie, I did get a little bit nervous in the beginning of this book because I was afraid that I wasn't going to love this book due to it just being a book that's not written for me, clearly. But after getting through the first couple of pages and really understanding what this story is and Justina Ireland's writing, I was able to plow through this book and really enjoy my time with it. And the ending of this book is all the Star Wars action you could ever want, and it had some surprises up its sleeve that I wasn't expecting. Now, my complaints with the book are probably the middle portion of the book lacks a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of downtime of people sitting down and talking, going to sleep, waking up, going back to sleep, and so that made the middle portion kind of meandering a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more action in that middle chunk, because that is the middle of your story. But it does have a surprising amount of character development during those moments as these characters reflect on their own pasts and talk with each other. And so that is why that section of the book is like that. But it does lead to a finale that is fantastic and a lot of fun, but it really brings in our villains at this point, and our villains only show up in, the first part of the book and then the end of the book, and it's the Nile, and the Nile in this aren't very interesting. A lot of the dialogue they say, talking about like a storm is coming, that stuff is really cool, but the characters themselves aren't that interesting. They're not as big of a threat as they were in Light of the Jedi. And so that was kind of my biggest disappointment. But still, in the end, I was taken aback by how great the characters were, how great the character development was, and how invested I became in their stories, particularly with Emery and especially Avon. I think those characters are extremely compelling. Probably the least compelling character is Vernestra Rowe herself. I just found her character a little bit bland and not that interesting or that compelling, but still, I think she worked for this story. Overall, guys, I think A Test of Courage is a fantastic read for a junior novel. I think it introduces people to the High Republic in a really fun and interesting way with compelling characters, just a really fun story overall, and really good writing from Justina Ireland. I'm really excited to see what she does next in the High Republic. I know she's got a YA book that's coming out after Claudia Gray's book comes out in February, so I'm definitely excited to see her continue with some of these characters and see where they go from here. So anyway, guys, with all that said, I'm going to give A Test of Courage an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I say if you are a fan of Light of the Jedi and you're really interested in the High Republic, I would definitely say pick this up due to the characters and just a fun little story. I think this was just an enjoyable, breezy read that was really easy to get through. And if you're a Star Wars fan in general, I would say definitely pick this up because the characters really surprised me. Justina Ireland really did a great job here. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.